here's some clips from practice. I'm not going to pause it at all, I'm just going to talk through it. A couple seconds of comments here and there. I would encourage you to watch it at quarter speed, and so you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Keep it longer in the water. Good, better? Better, now you're with them. Good correction.
Alright, first you can see a little bit of timing differences between seat 2 and 3. 2 is close to 1, pulling out a little bit early, and then Dawn in 3 is pulling a little bit longer, but a little bit late to Barry at the front. Alright, so looking at the bodies, I'd see in this boat the most body movement we see in the very last row, which is Corey on this side and then Lisa on the other side. But your bodies are not quite in sync. You can see there's like a moment at the very beginning where Lisa starts her sit-up and then Corey's still kind of moving, or just kind of pausing up front. So there's a little bit of, the timing between you two is a little bit off. I'm not sure who's correct. I'm not feeling on the boat, but I think Lisa is on it. Another thing, just Corey's, you notice where you're picking up your bottom hand, how it's kind of in front of your torso, in front of your hip, so you can keep that pressure a little bit longer. Doing a good job keeping the top arm straight, but we can try and get that bottom arm a little bit lower through the stroke, like a little bit lower in the front part of it, to grab more water, because a lot of it is in the air. Another thing to pay attention to, Marisa, so in the pink sleeves, you're starting your bend of your bottom arm a little bit early, so it's bending before you get to the very end of your stroke. Try to keep that bottom arm a little bit straighter, a little bit longer. Another example of the bodies not moving quite together is in that row 4 in front of Marisa. So we have Dina with the red PFD and Shannon in the black on the right side. So that you can see Shannon's body's moving forward and back, and Dina, you're doing kind of like a nod, so you want to move your bodies closer to what Shannon's doing. Okay, so on this side, a couple different things going on, a little bit of timing issues. So seat 3, I can't tell who that is, it might be Marvin, I'm not sure, but you're entering a little early, and part of it is the recovery is really fast, so you're getting to the front of the stroke in the air really quick. So you want to be a little bit slower on that recovery and then quicker as you're entering, rather than quick to the front and then fast down. So in the front right, seat 1, we see Karen's got a good sitting up body. It's very smooth. Top arm could be a little bit lower. Spencer's got, you can use a little bit more body, but you're doing a good job of like keeping the stroke long and smooth. Stan in seat 2, you've got a good body sit-up. I'd try to get your hands a little bit lower and try to lengthen out that stroke by setting the bottom arm a little bit lower. So as you enter, you're losing a little bit of distance there. Let's see. In seat 3 on the right side, we see, I think that's Steven. You might be sitting up a little bit past vertical, so be careful of not sitting up too far, but it is smooth, so that is good. In seat 4, we got Caden, who's a little bit newer, working on the timing, and then Gigi in the back in seat 5. So Gigi, again, trying to keep that paddle a little bit lower, setting it lower in the front, and then timing up with the body. So if you can see that very last seat, Gigi and Linda, so you notice how Linda will sit up a little bit before you. We want to have that rhythm sitting up, leading the stroke with the sit-up. Also, as just like a side note, you can see I'm steering in the back. If you watch this clip over again, you can see I'll pull out my oar quite a bit. If you're steersman trying to be better at steering, that's something you can practice, is trying to keep the oar out when you don't need it as much. Yeah. Okay, so on this side, you can see the body's a little bit out of sync on seat 2. So you see Stan on the left side with the beanie, and then Janine on the right side. If you notice, Stan's starting his sit up a little bit earlier. So it's not that he's sitting up faster, but there's a moment where he's moving his body with the boat, and then Janine is still kind of pushing down for that moment. So Stan and Karen are pretty much right in sync. Seat 3 in this one. Looks like, Steven, you do have that moment where you're a little bit out of time, a little bit late on the entry. So you've got a good length, Steven. Just work on trying to get a little bit quicker to the front. Yeah, the length is pretty good up there. Sam, you gotta work on that timing. You can see very early. And then notice by the time that your blade is fully buried, it's already pretty negative. So you want to work on definitely first the timing, and then second is trying to extend and slide the paddle forward as you're entering. Linda, it actually looks a lot better. It's improving a lot. That bottom arm, notice it's really bent. So you want to try and keep that bottom arm a little bit straighter for a little bit longer as it gets all the way to your hip. I would say on this side, definitely look at Karen's got a pretty good stroke. Body is motion is smooth. Karen can work on getting a little bit, hands a little bit lower up front. Not getting the body any lower, so she's not folding down in the front. It's head's moving mostly forward and back, which is good. So you can see Spencer on seat 1 left is not quite moving as much. So Spencer, if you can get a little bit more of that body, you'll be able to get a little bit more power out of that.